How's it going? Nice to see you. Best My Beautique.
It does its thing. Once a week, it's beautiful. That's it.
I love
After I wash it.
it. This is gonna be your seat here.
I am Stefania Dinoto, and I'm a registered massage therapist from Toronto, Ontario. That's a journey in itself. That's a huge journey. I was born in Jamaica, and I'm mixed. So my father's Italian, my mother's Jamaican. And when I came to Canada, I was about 3.5, and it was very apparent that I was different. Like, I would see women in fashion and makeup commercials and like Days of Our Lives, and like there was definitely nobody who looked like me, and all these like beautiful women did not look like me. Even the way that like Black people were perceived, like through media as well, it was always kind of like they looked like down upon them almost, or it was always like a negative view towards that. And so I never wanted to be associated with that, and then that made me hate the color of my skin. Like I even remember, and it's like so like crazy to think of this because I do not think of this at all right now, but I remember like when I was younger, like my mom is gorgeous, and I remember like not thinking that she was because she wasn't represented anywhere. But it's like I asked my dad, I was like, why did you marry her? Like there's so many other beautiful women here. Like what happened? And he was like, Steph, are you crazy that you don't see like how beautiful she is? And at the time it was like I just didn't understand, because like that's not what I saw, right? That was like one of my first things that made me not confident in the way that I looked. And then like fast forward to grade 1, I like had moved to Bolton, and that's when I started to get a lot of the backlash of the color of my skin, right? So I started elementary school and people didn't want to play with me because I was brown. And I was like, wait, what? Like, okay, so I knew I was kind of different, but now I actually know that I'm different because the way people are treating me, right? My dad gave me the best advice, and this is where my confidence stemmed from, right? He was like, Steph, listen. He's like, you are the best of both worlds. He's like, and you don't need to follow anybody. Do you. And just like be yourself, and people will just naturally gravitate towards you. You don't have to be anybody else but yourself. So that was like the most important lesson for me in confidence. Growing up, puberty comes, right? You were now judged on your body type and not necessarily like who you were as a person. So I ran the complete opposite direction and just like started wearing guy clothes.
And almost like rebelled against fashion.
Exactly.
Right.
So I was like, I don't see myself in this at all. And like, I don't want anyone to judge me for how I look, right? So I was like, if I don't try, no one's gonna judge me now because like, I'm not even trying. And like, what scale can you put me on because I'm not trying, right? So, and I wanted people to like really see me for who I was and not how I looked. I never like walked by a mirror and was like, oh my God, like, yes, who are you? Mm-hmm. It was just more so like, I didn't want to see a mirror. I was like, no, my hair is like this today. I'm just gonna walk around, right? I would say more so positive, but it took, like I had to go through the negative parts of it to get to the positive, right? Growing, like with social media and growing with it, I just found that the more like people who uploaded images and like things that were going on, like everyone just looked the same. And at first I was like, oh my God, I don't have that body. I have blemishes. Like I don't look perfect. And I was like, I should probably start to look perfect. But I find that every time I kind of like spiral in this sense of like identity, I always like stop and I'm like, okay, hold on, Steph, like where is this coming from? What are these emotions, right? And I'm just like, you know, I don't want to look like everybody else. Like, and it's also like social media just like made me realize that everyone is just posting the best parts of their lives. So it wasn't even genuine. I found like a knitting community on social media more than anything else. And I was like, oh, I love this. Like, let me look at patterns and all this other stuff, right? And just like avoid like the Explorer page of like booties and like big breasts. And, like
It's true.
I'm seeing a huge change right now already. And this is even where I say how like COVID has kind of helped that. Like because more estheticians, right, and more people in the beauty industry came online and were like, hey, this is how you can take care of yourself. Like these are like the products you can use, and this is like the ritual, if you will, of like how you can take care of yourself. because that wasn't really a thing before. That wasn't really on there that much. When you take the time and you're like washing your face and you're putting your serums on, you're putting your creams on, it's like you're just giving back to yourself for a little bit, right? And I love that. It's like, it's not about, oh, you need to look like this. It's like, hey, just take care of what you have. And that's so important because we're not gonna look, like no one is gonna look the same. Like we're all different, right? And it's really amazing to see it. But I think we just need more of that, like more of like, you are beautiful how you are, and let's just make you comfortable, right? Like let's just increase like that quality of life and like quality of care, because like ultimately we need to care for ourselves. It's so important. It's so important. By recognizing triggers and really like leaning into them, instead of me trying to like distract myself and be like, oh, that was a weird thought, I'm just gonna like leave it alone. I really just like dive into it and figure out why it is that I had that. And that's helped me so much, because it's just made me more comfortable in my own skin, just because I understand where I'm coming from now, instead of like trying to second guess myself all the time, right? I really look at like, where's this coming from? Like, why do I feel like this right now? Like, and then go deeper into that. You know what I mean? Like, recognizing triggers have been really big for me, and just like working on them have been really big for me, because a lot of things stem from that, right? Like going back to like little feelings you have now have been there since like I was like 3, or since I like came to Canada, and I was like, okay, well, what does this mean now? You know what I mean? COVID helped. COVID helped so much, which I know sounds terrible, 'cause it's been like a rough time for a lot of people. But like I had 3 months off in the very beginning of like the lockdowns, and I couldn't get my eyebrows done, and I couldn't get my upper lip waxed. And I was like, okay, Steph, it made me appreciate myself in a completely different way. Cause like, it wasn't like I had clients to go and treat and people were gonna be like, oh my God, why does she look like a mess right now, right? And it just made me appreciate myself. Like I had the bushiest eyebrows ever, and I was like, I look freaking beautiful right now. Like what was I thinking before? Like, I mean, I love getting them done. I love taking care of myself. But COVID really helped me have a different appreciation for myself. And I think just like me leaning more into like being feminine really helped me as well, right? Like I never used to wear dresses and stuff. And then when I started wearing dresses, I was like, oh, okay, hold on, I feel free and I can do this and I can like actually like let myself go. Honestly, it's really not so much like when I look in the mirror, it's more so when I like walk by a mirror and catch myself, and then I'm like, oh, who is this? Hello. And it'll be like me just getting out of bed or something, but I feel like when I look in the mirror, or when I catch myself in the mirror, I just try to like appreciate that moment of myself, right? Like if I look in the mirror, and probably like my smile makes me smile. if that makes any sense. I would say take the time and just like analyze yourself. Like, you know, when certain things come up, like when you feel a certain way, when you're like super emotional, like don't get on social media. Sometimes we can be the greatest self-sabotagers. Like, so really just take the time and like see where your emotions and your thoughts are coming from. Like, is this yours or is this something that someone is telling you, right? Like, and not relying on other people tell us. And if you have an emotion and you like run to somebody and you're like, I feel a certain way, and then they're telling you don't feel that way because this is how I see you, that's nice. But like, you need to really go back and be like, wait, hold on, but how do I feel about this, right? And like analyze yourself. I'm Stefania Dinotto, and really just love yourself.
That's awesome.